do you think expansion affects a market center, and what's the opportunity for a market center with expansion?
To me, it is the brain dead opportunity of the century, to be honest with you. And I think people have misunderstood this. And one of the reasons is because misguided real estate agents are going in because they don't understand the economic model that the way it should be done. And they're going in and they're acting like either A, I'm going to recruit agents from that market center to be on my team, which is a no-no, or number two, I'm going to negotiate the cap. I'm going to pay you less money to have an expansion person in your market center. Both of those are just silly ideas. The reality is the economics work beautifully for a real estate agent to receive leads, pay their cap, pay their royalty, and if you give them enough leads, the financial opportunity is massive. It's so massive. The idea of trying to ask a market center to make less money to support your model is silliness.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point. If you don't have enough business to support an expansion partner and pay a cap, why would you be expanding? You
shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't even consider it because you're putting the pressure on the wrong thing. You're going in trying to operate with weak leads and a weak agent, and you're trying to make your profit out of paying the market center no money. What you should be doing is putting pressure on your lead program so you have so many good leads that you can get a good person who looks up and says, this is a no-brainer. Of course I'm going to pay the cap. So if I were a market center tomorrow morning and I had 20 agents in my market center that had expanded from other market centers into my market center, that the leads were being generated for them and appointments were being set for them, and all I had to do was support them and make sure they were okay, and I was going to get a cap from all of them, why wouldn't I want them?
Well, what could your market center look like if you had 20 expansion partners in it who, oh, by the way, are not taking resources?
You'd be dominating the market. Because that would have a domino effect. That if you actually could make that happen, you would ultimately dominate your market. Because you would not only attract more agents who would want to receive leads, so they'd be going, well, do you have an expansion person that would hire me to do that? And then number two, you'd have your own associate. You'd be now out there in the marketplace bringing in agents and teaching them how to expand. So you would become the entrepreneurial hub of your city if you could master this singular thing. You got to realize the reason this is all happening is because the real estate agent is looking up, and every generation has to have their opportunity. So real estate agents on about a 5 to 7 year cycle, Kristen, a whole new group of real estate agents grow up in the business, and a percent of them really succeed at a high level, and they ask the question, where's mine? What do I get to do? And many of them looked up and said, well, I'm going to do what my daddy did. I'm going to start a real estate company and own a market center, or I'm going to try to do a region or whatever. Well, what's the highest net in the industry? Being an agent. What's the highest net and the lowest financial or legal risk in the industry?
Expansion.
Expand. The reason why is because if it's a capping agent, the liability, and you send it as a referral, and you get 50%, and so the financial relationship is a referral fee.
Right.
You have no legal liability. In the market center, it's a full cap. They have no problem at all as long as they have the freedom to hold that agent accountable to the ethics and the morals and the professional standards of the market center. You're just a lead generation mechanism for them. They're happy to take the legal liability because they do it that's what they do under their umbrella of their E&O and their standards and way of doing business. So you have no legal liability, you have no fixed expense to expand. And you don't need an additional license to lead generate if you're in your state. When you cross a state line, you don't need the license in the other state to generate the referral fee. That's legal and can happen. So you don't need a license in that state to get the referral fee. You need the license in order to generate the lead and set the appointment. So that's why you need the license. Otherwise, you don't need it.
And that's assuming that the expansion agent is the one that is using their license for the lead generation. And the reason I think you'd want to do that is because then you still have control. For instance, if that expansion agent,
That's right.
So you still have control. So I think that's a great idea.
That's exactly right.